I don't know. Do folks want to just give a quick introduction that haven't already? I know you know a couple of us, but maybe the people who haven't been in here could do quick introductions. Do you want to start?
Sure, I'll start. I'm Jerry Frank. I work for Housing and Dining on campus in the maintenance department. I am the work coordination, asset, and inventory manager. I'm also a member of the advisory board. No, what? It's not advisory.
I don't know.
Advocacy.
We can call ourselves, it's basically just you and me, and we call ourselves whatever we want.
I think come up with a really good interesting name.
I think, yeah, we could be like the fabulous hanger-outers.
And I think I'm considered a founding something or other.
I know, yeah, founding board member.
I have the coin that says something. And I'm also a president of long-term recovery.
Are we doing introductions?
Yeah, just-
Okay. I'm Alex. I'm a student member of the CRC for the past 4 years or so.
Yeah.
I'm Elizabeth O'Kinsey. I work for the OSU Foundation. I write grants.
Hi again, Elizabeth, Violence Prevention Specialist.
Sarah.
Yep. Amy Fraser, interim director for prevention and wellness. And I was just gonna give you all a little bit of the prompt that we gave you, which was very broad, but in terms of the presentation today. So we asked for Larry to present about why collegiate recovery communities are important and to share a little bit about your approach to supporting students in recovery. So that's kind of the context for today. We'll get started.
Y'all ready? All right.
You have one of those coins.
Several.
Yeah.
I like that you know that.
I was here for that. I mean, I've been here for that.
You're a founding fabulous hanger-outer.
That's exactly what it is. Is that computer doing fine?
Doing nothing.
Sorry, I know.
Yes, mine is a full screen.
Oh, like for you, when you look at it,
Oh, it's up there, okay.
it seems.
Yeah, it's a
Yeah.
presentation mode.
Okay,
on this computer.
there we go, that's fine. Yeah. I was just looking at it on there, okay. First off, I'd like to thank y'all for, it's been an honor and a privilege to come out here and visit Oregon State. I have a beautiful place here. I always like getting to know people that, I want to thank y'all for supporting recovery. That means a lot to a lot of people, especially me, as near and dear to my heart. I got a lot out of it. So the first prompt I'm going to go through is why collegiate recoveries are important. And here is my answer. I only took one slide. Did that to me. That's actually before the LSU game in 2016. Me and my buddy were playing in the room. So that's just a little joke, a little icebreaker. I mean, there's a lot of people that collegiate recovery helps. It serves a lot of people, not just the student. I mean, students are very important, but it helps everybody. The university, there's a benefit that they get from this. The community benefits and the individual benefits. I'm gonna go through all of those, but I just want to make sure that everybody realized that, they wasn't just pouring in resources to help somebody in recovery. That's not, serves a lot of people. Is that right? The enrollment's 31,000, about 32,000? Okay. And then when I say university, I mean it affects everybody, the administration, the faculty, and the staff. Addiction is present on all campuses. I don't think it's a big secret that college is an opportunity. It creates opportunity for addiction to take hold of someone. I I know when I was at UA, they was like, they came over to the Collegiate Recovery from Student Health and said, it's like the first week of school, and like all these minors were in the Student Health Center with alcohol poisoning. And they were like, what are you gonna do? And I was like, you're not gonna ban alcohol on campus because nobody's gonna come here. You know, so it creates a big problem, you know, it creates opportunity. It's expensive, it's a burden, a student conduct burden. We were talking about conduct earlier. I mean, a good bit of the cases that come through there, the people, you know, substances are involved. Any kind of, let's say, punishment, anything like that, substances are involved. Prison's full of it, you know? Student health care costs increase. The accidents, the let yourself go, you don't take care of yourself. All that costs money. Law enforcement. Law enforcement costs are high. That's where in America, that's where all the money goes. All of our budget, the majority goes to law enforcement, and it certainly costs us money. It costs OSU money too. So it's an overall drain on the institutional resources for addicted people to be here and be untreated. Collegiate recovery increases retention and graduation. The students stay here, they make better grades, so the GPAs are higher or across the board, you know. And that's something that any university is going to strive to do. They want their students to do well. Service work increases school pride. Like, you want your organization to be part of the solution, not the problem. You want to be known as somebody who stepped up to the plate and served this underserved population, you know, and they're thriving. That's good for your school because you're more diverse. You have more to offer somebody. That's one more thing that you have to offer. That's one more person that can come here and make it. Fosters donor activity. Everybody loves a good comeback story. You know, if you got a successful collegiate recovery program here on campus and they see you doing service work, and maybe you stepped over and did a little bit more for somebody that nobody else wants to do nothing for, that is a benefit. So, this campus statistic, this right here is from the Texas Tech Startup Kit Curriculum. Have y'all seen that? Y'all familiar with that? Okay, so y'all know what it is. So, those who don't know, according to Texas Tech's research, they got a grant back that was, they got federally funded to build a model of their CRC to pass on. So they did research, they came up with a startup curriculum kit. And this is in it, they're saying that 31.6% of students on the campus meet the criteria. That don't mean they're full-fledged addicts, but at some point they meet the criteria for substance use. 6% meet the criteria for alcohol dependence. And those added together, only 4% of them are going to seek help. And 50% seeking help will actually stay sober for more than 6 months. So, not bad. So, the financial impact of that. You know, finances, they mean something. So, this is just the math I did. So, if you take the 31,000 enrollment times the 31.6% plus the alcohol dependence, which is this number right here, add them together, you get to 466. And the half of those times the 11,000, which that's on the low end, it's like 11,000 something to go here for a year. That's the potential. Now you're not going to get the $2,563,000. That's the potential that it has. So I just took 30 students. If we help 30 students stay here, and you know, then that's $330,000 that we just saved, and only the tuition. That's not including all the other money they spend around here. You know, I mean, because it's expensive. The tuition, that's just part of it. I mean, trust me, I just did 5 years at Alabama. It cost me, so it has a huge benefit to the university, financially. It does. I've already outplayed this card in the interview earlier, which I hadn't, but this is very important to the well-being of society, in my opinion. Is the breaking the stigma of addiction. Nobody has a greater influence than we do here in the university because it's respected. I can come back and do something with myself. That's hope. Nobody is going to get into recovery that does not have hope for something better. I don't see it. The recovery is all about hope. That's the main thing. You hope there's something better, so you're gonna take the process of doing what you have to do. You know, there has to be some incentive. You're not gonna do a whole bunch of stuff, a whole bunch of work that you don't wanna really do and not get anything. That's not practical. That's the major thing. And addiction loses its power. When there's more of us living successful in the world, giving back, the disease of addiction loses power. I mean, that to me is enough to do it right there, because you're saving people. You're helping people that come from one end all the way back to the other. They were hopeless, a lot of them were hopeless, and now they've came and done good things. I mean, sometimes a lot better than people that wasn't in recovery. I've seen that. There's a lot of smart people that were in the CRC at Alabama. A lot of people that are doing big things, like doctoral students and stuff like that. But they make it look a little bit more doable. There's a little light at the end of the tunnel when you get to meet them. The institution is in the solution. And guess what? If there's no CRC here, addiction's still gonna be here. Regardless. They're still gonna be out here partying. You know what I mean? They're right out from under mom and dad, living on their own for the first time. They've been waiting for this. It's gonna be here, regardless if we got help for them or not. This will keep the campus, that will keep it down. It'll keep it from getting out. It helps keep it from getting out of hand on campus. You have a solution for a problem that you wouldn't want to have. It's going to be here regardless if there's a CRC or not. So it welcomes diversity. You want to be well known for. You want all kinds of people here. Then you can have experience and stuff with everything around. You know what I mean? So you're more likely to be able to change and grow for the better with people and experience. The university grows. These students have an impact on other people here. You know, what recovery is all about comes through the students, you know, interacting into college. And it's kind of and it kind of goes back to the stigma thing. It breaks the stigma. They really get that opportunity to learn what recovery really is. They get to see it. It's not the guy you see downtown in the alley laid out with a, that's not it. It's the middle-aged people. It's the college kids that are becoming addicts and stuff too. They get to see what it really is. So that's really important. All right, this is the prevalence. I got that from NIDA. There's a reference on the last page that that you can pull it up yourself for. But you're more likely to use when you are between the ages of 18 and 25. What happened to my graph? Okay, that's your between these ages you're more likely to use. So let's recap all the stuff. Students arrive here on campus, out from under mom and dad. They're away from home for the first time. They're under the stress of I'm leaving high school, I'm in college now. That's stressful. They're not going to be able to add up, you know how. So they're trying to connect socially. It's important to these kids that they connect and that they're, you know, that they're cool and they make connections here and they have friends. They don't want to be on the unpopular end. They want to be on the. That's important. There's no recovery support if there's no people in recovery here. That's what the students provide. They provide recovery support for people. You know, you can stay here, graduate, have a great time, and not use substances. That's what the students do. So, like this kind of goes back to what I said earlier. College creates an opportunity for this. So you're more likely to use, and you got all this other stuff going on too. So I think that's pretty much, you know, reveals why you need it here, because there's a huge opportunity for it to happen. Okay, college is a hostile environment for students in recovery. I think we just covered that. You know, already talked about the stigma. Peer support services for recovering people on campus are critical. So, like what I told y'all in the interview, I'll say it again, but the young people are going to listen to young people more than they listen to a staff member or a professor. You know what I mean? Me saying, a student or somebody in recovery, somebody that's on their same level telling them is different than like somebody sitting across the desk from them with the power to end your career here at the school. You see what I'm saying? And they're not gonna view it as an attack, they're gonna view it more as a support method. So we need recovery support on campus. Okay, you say I can get into recovery, I can stay in recovery, but there's nobody in recovery here. Prove it. There is no proof of that. So they're kind of the proof that it happens, and they're more able to get here. They can share their experience, and they're more able to stay here and share with them what the experience is like without drugs. Now this one right here, it shatters the lie. That's already been shattered, but we got to continue to do it. Because there was a thing back, used to be you felt you couldn't come to school and be in recovery at the same time. See, I'm in recovery. I know many people 12-step recovery. I know many people sitting in resignation that have abilities that won't get up and do something because they think they can't do it. They think they cannot go back and do this. That shatters that lie. That's kind of what happened to me. I just really wasn't willing to sit in resignation. So I just was going to go all in and do what I had to do. But a lot of my friends will not get up and do anything. They will work their $10 an hour job. They're smart, they're capable, but they just will not because of this right here. They don't think they can go to college and be in recovery and that they can coexist. They'll be accepted here. And when I got to Alabama, I had a hard time. I mean, I was really thinking, do you really belong here? You're too old to be here. They don't want no recovering people like you don't come here. That's what was going through my head, and luckily I had a support group to help me get through that. You know, and if I would have quit, you know, but this shatters that, and it really excites me right there. Because I love to see people in recovery doing better. Okay, and collegiate recovery gives students hope for something better. They get their degree, they get their self-confidence and their self-worth back, which is probably the number one most important thing. And they have a bright future, a life that they can be proud of. You know, all of us here that have our degrees and stuff like that, we worked hard for that and we're proud of it. I know it changed my existence totally. You know? It helps the community. Everybody benefits. The local, state, and national community. People in recovery love giving back. Because they get this thing in gratitude for where they've came from. And they love doing service work. So they give back, and it helps everybody. The students, the parents, the alumni, and the donors are all benefit from this. Because you have better people doing big things and helping people. And I want to say something about the parents. When somebody's in recovery or somebody's in active addiction, the whole family's in active addiction. It restores that family system. And any of y'all that had anything to do with the CRC know, you've seen the parent come in with the kid, they're looking all mad and sad at the end, but when they walk across that stage, you know, everybody's happy at that graduation dinner or the awards banquet or whatever it is that they have. That's why I like to do this, because I get to witness that. You know, but it has the power to help the family system be restored. The local workforce is more productive. People in active addiction are not productive. You know, they might not even be able to get a job. If they do, they can't keep it. And when they're there, they're not really productive. So that kind of helps the community. I've already mentioned service work. The parents and alumni feel supported. The parents of the people they get a little relief from having to worry about their kid and dropping. Now, let's think about it. My kid's in recovery, and I'm gonna go drop him off at a university, pay for his housing. Am I signing his death warrant? But on the other hand, I keep him at home. I'm keeping him for his dreams and shelter. He's not growing. So you see the predicament in. You see how we can help with that. You know, they feel a little bit more at ease because there's more people like them here. Well, we got a track record of success, graduation, people making it. So it kind of helps the parents too. it increases campus safety for other students, especially like drunk driving accidents, and which is a major thing. The healthcare cost and burden of the local emergency department, various accidents, like I said, drunk driving. The law enforcement costs in the community, not here on campus, are really high due to substance abuse. All right, the individual. This is for enrolled students here at OSU and prospective students. In my approach to supporting students in recovery, you know, I'm a 12-stepper. I'm like probably your classic 12-stepper. Except for I don't claim that we have a monopoly on recovery. You know, my way does not have to work for everybody. It's what works for me, and that's the path I've chosen, and it's what works, and I'll keep doing it because it works for me. So I just wanted to say that because a lot of people, we get a bad rap sometimes that we know everything. It's not true. I don't know what God has in store for someone outside. So I like to meet people where they are. I never want to close the door permanently for nobody. I'm not a finger pointer. I am more of I want to provide a positive atmosphere. I want you to know when you meet me that I'm here to help you. I don't believe that there's a time frame on anything. I don't believe in pointing the finger and saying, hey, you must do this time. I just want to hit you with a message of hope. And I want you to be able, you to be able to act on it. You're not going to process it right now. You're going to go home and process it. They have to internalize the fact that we're here to help. And I want them to use me. So I have to meet them where they're at. I can't make them do something. I can't make them just want to get into recovery today and go to 90 meetings in 90 days and do everything I did right from the get-go. I can't do that. So I meet them where they're at. I make sure they know the door is open because if some kind of crisis situation calls, we want them to use us. We don't want to be known as the place. They will not ever come to me if they're in some kind of fear of judgment or they think they've used up all their chances. I want to make it known that it's unconditional. I mean, you can't just come in here and let us enable you, but if you're willing to, if you got the desire to change, then we're going to help you. Some of them's going to get here and they're going to be full blown. There's full-blown addicts in high school, alcoholics in high school. Some of them's going to be in recovery. And some of them's going to be here, they're going to leave and go to treatment and then come back. So we want to provide, I want to provide services for all of these people here. Anybody in recovery that wants to, they all play a role. Students in long-term recovery that come here, they're valuable too. They have that real-life, long-term recovery experience. They've done things that new people are trying to do. So that's valuable. I believe in a holistic approach. I believe every aspect of life is important and contributes to the recovery process, like your health, your spiritual well-being, your social well-being. All that needs to be a balance, and they all need to be in a good place. And I'm a big emphasis on the importance of service by others. This right here will take you from being having low self-esteem. It lets you know that you are important and that you do count in the community and that you have a lot to offer. That's what it's done for me. So I emphasize this, giving back. Giving back will enhance your inner well-being more than anything else that I've ever come across. And I've said this, create a positive and accepting atmosphere of recovery. It has to be fun. It has to be attractive here. You know, when they come in, it has to be stuff going on. You can feel the recovery vibe when you come in a place that's functioning and that's providing positive support to people. And people are grateful for what's going on, and you can just feel that. And you do that by keeping the purpose. The primary purpose is the students. The main purpose is the students getting the services and enjoying college and staying clean and getting healthy. That's how you do that. So if you keep that at the forefront of everything, all the rest of it's going to work out because of the good results that you get. It's all going to fall in place for you. I really believe that. Meet the students' basic needs. So I believe that we need to meet the students basically. I can't expect you to perform academically if you're worried about your rent being paid or your lights being turned off if you don't have the money or you don't have food for groceries. I think we need to work to meet their basic needs. We ought to have these resources. We ought to have the campus resources and the connections, or maybe the resources ourselves to help with that. Because I can't expect you to do well if you're worried about other things. You can't focus on schoolwork if you're worried about other stuff. All right, I'm gonna close. So I'm gonna recap what I said already. Collegiate Recovery has the power to make things possible for people that weren't possible before. That wouldn't be possible if it wasn't here. You know? And we have an opportunity to make a major contribution to society. It says that in the OSU statement, that they're trying to make a great contribution to society. They have a responsibility to society and to the community. And how I plan to help students in recovery, I plan to use my personal recovery experience, my professional and education to help students accomplish their goals and have a great college experience while they're here. So there's the references. That's the Texas Tech thing there at the bottom if you want to see that. There's my biography. So if y'all want me, I can send you all this presentation. Alrighty. So I don't know, did I go 30 minutes? I didn't go over.
No, I think you're actually just right on. Yep.
Awesome. Okay. Cool. Questions?
I have a really, I don't know, maybe easy question, maybe really hard. So I read that you like Bama football. So how do you feel about coming to a school where our football team is leaves a lot to be desired in terms of W's?
But your baseball team won the national
I
championship.
was just asking about football.
Baseball is awesome.
Our women's basketball is
That's what I do.
also.
Yes, our women's basketball is also very good.
Really?
Yes.
Oh, I actually like women's basketball.
Women's basketball, we're going into this season ranked 8. So,
Really?
yeah.
That's pretty awesome.
But-
Yeah, I'm gonna miss my football. If I was to come here, I would very miss my football Saturdays. And I'd probably take a vacation to at least go to the Iron Bowl.
Right now.
Yeah, great.
Right after Thanksgiving. That's a Saturday after Thanksgiving, so.
Oh, that's the
It's a
Civil War
plan.
though. That's our big.
Oh, that's our big tailgate.
That's our
Oh, well,
that's our
yeah.
big game that we have won in the past.
It's happened before.
It happened 2 years ago, and that's like the first time in like 8 years. But yeah, that's the big one.
I actually sing a little bit of the USC game last week.
You're like, well, I don't know if I want to go
You
there.
know, Mike Riley, our old coach, was Alabama quarterback at one point.
Yeah.
Right? Yeah. You know, he turned us down actually to stay here in Oregon.
See? Oregon's
We
pretty
tried to
great.
hire him and he said, no, I think I'm gonna stay in Oregon.
And now he's not here.
Right.
Anyway, do
That's
that
about-
softball.
Yeah, do you have questions? Because that's fun stuff.
I have a question. So it sounded like you're really interested in the whole spectrum of student services when it comes to their involvement with substance use. So some of that, we were talking about active addiction, students in long-term recovery, people who are new to recovery. Can you talk about the way that the CRC could help direct services to students across that spectrum, especially seeing as the focus is really the recovery portion? But how else could the CRC be mobilized to serve substance use across the spectrum?
I don't really understand the question. We're going to try to provide services for any student, any OSU student that has been accepted to the university and that has a desire to. So how do we expand that?
So are you asking, just to clarify Elizabeth, are you asking like how recovery support might look different for students in those different spaces? Or how it intersects maybe with?
Maybe my question is, relies on an assumption that is incorrect. The CRC is mostly serving students who are in active recovery or in long-term recovery or maybe recent recovery, but they're in the recovery phase. They're not in the active addiction phase.
Oh, I see.
And but because you're interested in helping students across that whole spectrum, I'm interested to see where you think that the CRC's work could help students who are not yet there to the recovery portion of that journey.
Yeah, well, we did this in Alabama, they can be involved in prevention campaigns. We did prevention with student health, a couple of the students went and volunteered and went to the fraternity houses. They did prevention presentations and stuff like that, and they got to know the students and about the CRC. We tabled at every event, the student health fair, the suicide walk, the whatever, you know. We had tailgates which were actually right on the quad. We had a prime location right next to Denny Time on the quad. Pretty awesome with yellow balloons. We have social media. Social media, Twitter, Facebook, all that. We have yellow balloons up, so if you're at an Alabama football game and you're in danger, you can sign those yellow balloons and come to the recovery camp and they'll greet you there. Or if you're just in recovery and you just want to come by, we have our own tailgate. So that was pretty, that was pretty cool. But yeah, you definitely need to do a campus-wide campaign, and it is important that everybody knows. So finding, that'd probably be part of the job, is creating ways to spread awareness, and not just that surface level awareness. They need to really know the student, because I think there's a big misinformation about what addiction is. So if they really get to know the people, that'll change their mind. They're not much different than them. It's just when they put in, then they bad things happen. They have something different wrong with them. But now they're living, and a lot of the times the recovering student does a lot more for society than a regular person does. Because we had a reason to look at ourselves, and we learned some tools, and we learned a lot. So I think that you really have to. I think that's important. That's real important, that you be able to at least have access to the students. Maybe have some open houses and events. We did a lot of open houses and events, and we worked with a lot of the students came to the open recovery meeting. We have do a recovery night. We have every Thursday night. Students are all in there. You just make it available.
I'm curious if you either have experienced this at Alabama, or you have thoughts about also how potentially some CRC members could be involved and still maintain a sense of anonymity if that's important to them. So I know one of the things you talked about a lot is reducing stigma, and I think with that perhaps more students would rely less on needing or wanting anonymity. Mm-hmm. But I'm just wondering if you have ways that students who perhaps are CRC members but don't maybe want to be as visible in the campus community but feel like they can still make an impact somehow.
Yeah, well, first off, they never have to do that they don't want to do. Like, they want anonymity. Some people aren't there. They might get there at a later time, but that'll be their choice to share their story. And they can be selective about what they did. About maybe the amount that it's going to come out. You might not want to go to a 300-person function, but you could go to a 10-person function. Over at the recreation, playing basketball, that's fine. I'm on the CRC team, but I don't want to go to this big 300-person function where everybody there knows, So, but yeah, I would never, ever, everybody that knows me knows I'm in recovery. It's just part of who I am. I don't blast it out, this is a recovery deal. This is in the scope of what we're doing here, but I don't blast it out like everywhere I go at my other job, But yeah, they always will have confidentiality, and they should be respected. We want them to stay here with us.
Sarah, very nice to meet you too. Sarah, do you want your pen? That's not mine.
Are there other?
It's just laying there.
Are there other questions?
So he kind of answered my question. I was going to ask how you would help expand knowledge of the existence of the CRC, because I know it exists, but we really haven't been able to expand on it that much.
Yeah, I got some ideas. Like, do y'all have a radio station?
Yeah.
We do.
We did an interview on the radio station at UA. People got to know it, and it's really growing there. Like, I've had an idea before. It hasn't happened yet, but it isn't just an idea. I'm not written in stone, but I even thought about putting it on the application. Are you in recovery, maybe, and explaining what it is, we're not trying to weed you out because we think you're a drug addict, but just explaining what it is. It's not gonna keep you from doing, but hey, would you like to be in the CRC? Stuff like that, to get more people here and be on the radio and showing up to the events. You know, showing up to the events and just making the relationships one by one is what's gonna do it. I mean, I do that all day long.
We have a really active student media group. We do, yeah. It's called OMN, and they do all of our, they do radio, they have TV station, they have a lot of opportunities.
Yeah, and like the Crimson and White, the school newspaper, they've done interviews on our people.
Yeah, which is great, like a highlight.
Yes, yes. Students individually in the CRC, they've been in there several times.
Yeah, and I think, Jerry, to your point, one of the things that we have talked about, like we talked about in the interview a little bit today, but is the fact that with this position, knowing that it's a full-time position dedicated specifically to the CRC, whereas in the past, for example, John was trying to do 2 jobs, I think that that's a large part of this position is kind of an intention around more of all of those types of outreach and having capacity for more of that outreach, both from the coordinator in this position and then also kind of facilitating the CRC members as they would like. But I think that's a really good point of like how we can continue to get the word out, both for students and for faculty and staff and on campus.
I have one. Thanks for the talk. I appreciated the slides and your ideas.
I'm not the best presenter in the world, but how are you doing that?
You mentioned it a little bit. But we have a wide range of what people consider recovery. It's definitely not all 12-step stuff.
Mhm.
So I feel like, and I really also like that you talked about just having that vibe that it's just hard to quantify, that when they walk in, they just feel the community and the support. And historically, I feel like for me, it's been hard to get that, the people who are not as into 12-step recovery and who have their own, and who find recovery through other means, to have that same sense of community, because it's so built into the 12 steps. So I guess how do you feel like you can support everyone and also maintain that sense of community and hope for everyone?
You just have to promote the positivity. You have to include them. You have to include them and let them know their worth is the same as yours. They haven't had a spiritual awakening. You know, they know what I'm talking about. I'm grateful to be standing up here right now. There was a day this wasn't in the cards. You know, I'll just put it like that. So, but they hadn't had that yet. But we have to be an example. We have to keep carrying on anyways, and then it's contagious. They want it. They want the same thing we have. And then they'll probably take out start the process of finding out how to get it. But you just can't let that keep you from doing what you do. You know what I mean? So I would keep on working steps, and I would keep on being a positive example to people. I would just keep doing that, and it gets more contagious because everybody else is happy, joyous, and free, and you're not. There's a separation there, but you can't let them stop you from doing that, because they're gonna get on with you. Don't let them make you. You know what I mean? But just offer it to them. But you just have to be good to them and treat them like you would anybody else in recovery, because we're all in different places. We're not all going to be in the same place. You know, I was in a way different place 10 years ago at this time. You know, so I think it's just important for us to keep being an example and keep providing a positive atmosphere, and your interactions with them are positive. No matter what, they're just not there, So.
I really appreciated what you said about how important that peer-to-peer interaction is. I think about that when I'm doing presentations to students, about how sometimes the student standing next to me giving the presentation alongside of me just has a much larger impact than the violence prevention lady. So I really appreciate that. And I maybe it's not so much a question more, but I'm just curious.
Could you tell me, you mentioned that you had peer-to-peer programs that went to the fraternities and sororities. Could you tell me a little bit, I'm just curious to hear about what those prevention programs looked like and how those were received and how the students that you worked with interacted with that and were trained for that.
Yeah, I actually didn't do it, but when some of my peers in collegiate recovery did it, they said that it was well received.
Yeah.
They said that it was well received. They went to my executive director, Gerard Love, he did that, I think it was twice last year. And they said it was well received, because they were worried about it not being, you know how fraternity kids are. Like one of them peed on our tailgate tent during the tailgate. I mean, you know, they can be pretty, they can be pretty rough, you know. But they said it was well received. They said it turned out better than they thought it would. So, if I remember specifically, one of my close friends went in there with him, and you know, he's kind of nervous. Like I spoke 1,000 times, but he's a little bit newer, and he was worried about it. But yeah, they got it done. But I think it was well received. I think the kids today, they're more on a health kick these days than they were a while back. Like nobody smokes anymore. You know, a lot of people, you know what I'm talking about, stuff like that. They're more into these kind of issues today. You know, this millennial generation is more into those kind of issues. You know, so.
I think sometimes being able for students to have those personal connections are really important too, versus being feeling like very researchy or like another class they have to attend.
Mm-hmm.
So making things like very relational and real, I think, is really important. And I think you were highlighting that and talking about the importance of having that peer-to-peer contact and education.
Yeah, that's important, because you know, a lot of them, they look at us like, you know, they're like,
Yes.
they haven't heard nothing I had to say. You know, they're like 18 years old. They hated me in undergrad. My classmates, not the CRC, but you know, they look at me like, what's this old dude doing here? Kind of deal, you know.
I'm pretty sure when I was 18, I knew everything, and now
Yes.
I'm no longer 18, and I know that I know nothing.
Ageism is a real thing.
Yeah.
So we have just a few minutes left if anyone has added questions, or I guess also if you have any other questions for the group, or if there's, I don't want to put you on the spot, but yeah, if there's other things anyone has questions about. Thank you very much for your presentation. We really appreciate it. Yeah, if people have a chance to provide any feedback, you're welcome to just turn it over and leave it here. I'll pick it up.
And I'll get this back to you.
Yes, that's perfect. Thank you so much, Jerry.